What up? What up?
Hey, everybody.
Wow. Well, back in the building. And she told me don't say that. But listen, whatever. Listen.
Episode 60.
Episode 60.
Yes.
And what's funny is, and crazy, this is from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And
in the ATL.
our new home.
What?
I mean, did y'all even know that we left? Did y'all know we left?
We live in Atlanta, Georgia.
Which is crazy because if I had thought about it just 2 years ago, it was a thought that turned into an actual deal. Like my feet that are on this carpet right now are in Atlanta, Georgia, and my family is in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes.
It's supposed to snow this weekend.
You are so big on the weather, bro.
Listen, because the weather, to be honest with you, it makes people happy. People go through seasonal depression.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't felt sad any day that I've looked outside.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, Atlanta has great weather. Like in Cleveland, we would notice if it was a sunny day. It's like, oh my goodness, the sun is out. Like
Thank you.
Here, you notice if it's a cloudy day.
Thank you.
Like it's like, oh, it's cloudy out. Like
you
because
say
you're so
about the
used.
weather.
I mean, no, you be acting like you're not born and raised from Cleveland though sometimes.
Well, that's the thing, is because I'm from Cleveland that I notice it so much. So listen, end of the day, it's episode 60. We've made it to 60 episodes, which is amazing. And there's so much that has happened in between the last time we've talked to you guys. And so I'm excited to actually talk to you and tell you a little bit about what's going on and give you some courage. To be honest with you, really what drives this episode is that when you have an idea, if you drive the idea consistently enough and take action, it will come to fruition.
Yes. That's just facts. Everything you want is on the other side of consistency.
On the other side of consistency. So just about, how long would you say? 3 years ago, I started kind of mentioning this?
I would say like 6.
Okay, so 6 years ago, we were talking about this whole concept of, well, I was talking about moving.
Yes, it was definitely a monologue at that time.
It was definitely, I was talking to myself. I was the man in the mirror. I'm stopping with.
No. I'm starting with the man
in the mirror. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because if you want to make a change, you got to start with thyself.
Make that change.
That was the prophet Michael.
Yes. So, we talked about this, and I was just beating Jasmine's head over with it in words, verbally.
I'm looking for the man in the mirror.
I'm starting with the man
I don't think we're
in
right.
the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways.
I'm looking at the man.
And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change, yeah. Na 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 na. All right, so yeah, but I was on Jasmine's head about moving, and I was just mentioning, and I was mentioning this city, Tampa, Miami, Texas, Houston, Charlotte.
Dallas,
I mean, I'm
DC.
So then I started coming down here and, coming to some events and then partying a little bit and then partying some more and maybe another party, but then another event. And it was like, you know what? I like the energy here.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was that turned a vision into action for Jazz, but I would love to know what turned vision into action.
I think I just got to a place where I was okay with the idea. I had heard it enough. I had grown enough over the time, and I was ready for adventure, change, and just to say yes, to do something different. And that just came about. I can't really say it was a situation or a conversation. It was more so just like, you've talked about something for so long. You've heard someone else talk about it for so long that it's like, okay, let's do it. And also, if I'm really honest with you, Chris, if I really were to dig deep for a real answer, I think I would also say because us selling our house gave us a level of financial freedom that was very attractive to me and gave us new energy and a restart.
So really, it was the bag.
It was the bag, honestly. And our house, we have such a great story with our house. I mean, if anybody could buy real estate like we did and had the success, we literally bought it when the market was down And we literally sold it when the market was up. We bought our
Which is
house, you guys,
crazy.
for $70,000. It was a foreclosed house in the most beautiful neighborhood, most beautiful street, just absolutely beautiful. And we sold our house for $257.
1,000.
What did I say?
$257.
Y'all know what I mean.
Which would have been a loss.
We sold our house for $257,000.
But that's a major bag.
It's a major bag.
Because not only did we pay down on it over those years, so then we took this big bag and
right,
we're
but
like,
not to say that we didn't have any financial mistakes in there.
oh,
we
no.
refinanced.
We're young. I mean,
we did a lot of things.
You do what you can with what you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is that Atlanta gave us so here's the thing. So these two young people got this big vision.
Mm-hmm.
There's these things they want to do. And I came down to Dave Shan's conference, the Social Proof Conference back in 2019.
Possibly, yes.
Right before the pandemic, the year before the pandemic.
Okay.
And we come down to Atlanta and it's just such a buzz in the room. It's just this great energy, and Social Proof is just alive and kicking, and it's, this room is jam-packed and that room is jam-packed, and it's this new energy, and it's just like, y'all are really vibing. But not the thing that was so dope to me was most of the people that were on stage lived here.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like real dope to me. And so, when we come from Cleveland, we have entrepreneurs who are also doing their thing and kicking it and going hard in the paint. But we're talking with felt like hundreds of people. It was hundreds of people who were just vibing and rocking and rolling.
And just a black excellence.
Yeah, we wanted a part of that.
Absolutely. So we moved for the bag too. Like, we got a bag by moving here, and then we moved for the bag as well. This was definitely a money-making move for us. It was definitely a decision to build on wealth. These are our wealth-building years. We're in our 30s. It's our time for earning, for sure.
Yeah, and with our children being young, this was a great time to, kind of make that switch, and we didn't want to wait till they were in high school, or something like that, where now they're so attached to their community and their friends. This was like a great time to move. And so, and if you're listening, you're probably, thinking to yourself like, man, like, I would love to move. I'm a single parent, and I got a situation with my family and the baby father, baby mom, that makes it a little more difficult for me to move. And that's understandable. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you're not financially ready. But let me tell you something. When you put vision first, and then you chase it with action, like, it is going to come to pass. Mm-hmm. And Jazz, as you always say, it's being consistent. And if there was nothing else that I was very consistent about the idea of moving. And what I started doing was building value under why we should move.
Absolutely. One thing I do know for sure with that is, as your wife, I needed to eventually say yes, right? I can't hold us back because of my fear and my anxiety. And that's something that I have to learn along the way, is to trust you, trust your vision, and trust your voice. I think for so long, maybe I didn't naturally have that, and that was a muscle that I had to build. But in doing that, I've realized how many times I have not trusted your vision and you was right the whole time. Or you've said something, or you've called something. And I have to lean into that God-given gift that He has given you as our visionary. I can't just call you our giraffe and then not really, have the actions that follow those words. So for everybody that is listening, I call Chris my giraffe because he's a visionary. He can be standing right here with me, but his head is up so high, he sees so far. So I have to lean into that wisdom and just know that God has given me you. What?
That sounds so cute.
It's true.
Except the fact she does not trust me when it comes to where am I going. Like, we could be driving just this past weekend, right? So with big vision, she can rock with me. It could be something that's, do you know where the place is? And I'm driving, and she gonna be over there discount double checking me just to make sure I know.
Well, why is that though, babe? Don't do that.
I'm just saying.
Well, why do I have to do that?
Saying.
Are you a great map reader? Tell the truth and shame the devil.
Watch this. I am a great map reader. Number one, all men are great map readers. Let's just be very honest, okay? Number one. Number two, giraffes can see high and appreciate the small things. We can appreciate how getting to this place to another, it may seem as if we don't really care about the details, but we already got the details. We know exactly where we going. We can see it all.
You know what I realized is that you are not the type of person who can put Waze on mute. You need voice command at all times.
Okay.
As we digress.
So,
and for the record, we missed a very important business meeting because you did not know where you were going.
Okay, that's true.
So I have to check, double check.
That's true. But again,
Bill check.
Okay. Nevertheless, right? So here we are. We move here, and one of the biggest things that was a drawback for us when we talked about moving, it was a few things. Number one was family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what many of you probably thinking.
Yes, we are both extremely close to our families. So to move with small children at that, it's almost like you didn't cuss, because what are y'all going to do moving down there with no support and y'all got these small little kids?
But that was real.
That was real.
That was a real feeling.
That's real. This is what I know for sure about moving. If you have it all figured out, you'll never do it. Or if you're trying to wait for it all to be figured out, it won't ever get done. It's one of those things you just have to do, and you have to knock down that obstacle as it comes. Like, okay, we already made up our mind, and do something drastic. Like, put your house on the market.
Facts.
Because that got us going. And it didn't have to be perfect. Remember, we thought, let me just tell y'all a life lesson I always want to remember. It does not have to be perfect in order to do it. We have been, I was going to say pussyfooting.
Pussyfooting.
What is that a saying?
Yeah.
What's a pussyfoot?
A small foot.
Oh, okay.
Taking its time.
Oh, okay. We have been pussyfooting.
Catfooting. That's what I would think about.
Oh, a pussy, like a cat.
Yeah. Catfooting.
So, okay, anyway.
You need a Heimlich.
What type of animal was that?
A lemur.
A cougar. Okay, so anyways.
Wow. You are 35 this year.
I am.
Who am I? I shouldn't
35.
be telling your age on the thing.
It's okay. I'm proud to be 35. I'm grateful.
That came with the Me Too era?
No.
That didn't come with it?
What?
In the package.
Why would me 35 come with me too?
Because, it's all about equals. We tell our age. I'm just making sure that we all on the same page.
Don't do that.
All right.
Don't be a petty feminist.
That's dangerous.
Don't be a petty feminist.
I'm going to get, I don't need that.
Okay. Anyways, fast forward to what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Which is what? What was I even saying?
So, in the end, you were talking about the fact that we were taking our time.
Because we thought we had to put the house on the market, and the house had to be completely updated in some big places, right? And we, was trying to find the contractors, trying to figure out how much of the kitchen we're going to get done, how much of this we're going to get done. And then finally, your friend, your coworker, who was actually our realtor, said, put the house on the market as is. Stop overthinking it. We wasted months. We almost missed our window to sell as high as we did. We wasted months.
I mean, truthfully, we were a week away because our neighbors sold their house for $20,000 under what we sold ours for. Mm-hmm. We would have lost $20,000 easily because our house was a little bit more modern and updated. Mm-hmm. But nevertheless, to your point, like, trying to wait to what is the perfect time? Like, what is the perfect time to do absolutely anything? Mm-hmm. Like, how does a perfect time even exist? Like, that would then mean that every star aligns and you got to catch it. Like, so that's why if you think about the perfect time, when they say, the sun is going to pass the moon and it's going to pass it this time. Like,
the perfect eclipse.
Yeah, you got to catch that thing down to the last 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah, facts.
And if you miss it, you don't see it for another 100 years.
Facts.
So how are you thinking that with time in your own life that you're going to be able to catch time at a perfect time to make a move? You got to step drastically. And what you're going to do is, instead of thinking that the goal and the greatness of your life is going to come in one step, which is the perfect time, that you need to be courageous enough and take enough action to say, I'm not waiting on the perfect time. I'm willing to put together 20 steps to create the perfect time.
Christopher.
I don't need one step to get there. I'm willing to take 20.
Preaching. I didn't know this is what you were doing. While you were talking, because you were talking so good, you should have a camera right in front of you to capture that. and then made a reel out of what you just said. That was
good.
so good.
That's good.
Yeah, like a zoomed up.
That's
so we need
good.
to work on that. We need
That's
3
cool.
cameras actually. Okay.
We do. Who wants to, if you want to invest in the Fresh Life podcast, you definitely can.
And how could they invest? What would you like? Money, or would you like them to actually buy you an item?
Well, if you want to be a cameraman, you can do that. We would definitely love that type of help. We're down here in Atlanta, so it's plenty of you looking for work. And after Genius, Kanye's doc, you guys are in demand. and we looking for a cootie.
Oh, if I was just about to say a coochie.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's late, Chris. We're
happened?
recording this podcast at
What
11:52.
just took place?
This is Fresh Life After Dark.
This is Fresh Life. What just happened?
Okay, so anyways, y'all, let's fast forward.
Yeah.
The thing I want to tell you too is, have you ever tried to watch the sunrise and a sunset? That goes by
instantly.
by
very fast.
You have to catch it literally within the minutes. So do not wait for the perfect time. But perfect time, I don't want you to get this confused with preparation. Because preparation is important. I don't want you just to say, let me just do this thing and not have anything prepared or thought out. It's just that not everything is going to be figured out, but you should have a good sense of where you're going, in this thing. So anyways, let's just talk about briefly. We're going to keep this 60th episode kind of brief.
I want to hear about preparation, because the theme that I'm thrusting towards is that vision is, when you have a vision, you have to take action towards the vision. So how does preparation take you toward the vision?
Absolutely. You have to have preparation. You have to sit down. You have to plan. You have to figure out where an obstacle might come and how you're going to overcome that obstacle. You have to figure out how much it's going to cost. How much is it going to cost me mentally, physically, financially? And is it worth it? I don't think we should just pull a trigger and say, it ain't gonna be a perfect time to do anything. Let's just do it. Because you could say that about anything. There's no perfect time to have a child. There's no perfect time to get married. There's no perfect time to start a business. That is correct. But I do prefer to prepare for a child by, moving into a place that has a bedroom for them, being married to a spouse, picking a good school district to live in. Things like that helps me to prepare to have a child, but it will never be the perfect time.
Let me also say that, when we talk about like moving towards vision, preparation is also who you have to help prepare with you. And so having someone talking you through, the right steps, is very important. And sometimes, in our experience, we did not have family. It was the craziest feeling. We didn't have family walking with us step by step during this process.
No, not at all.
And
I think it's because they didn't want us to move. Like, they weren't really bought into.
Yeah.
And they're just really busy.
And it's no shade towards anyone.
No, I don't think it's any shade.
But I would definitely say we talked about the fact that we felt a little bit alone and isolated in this process.
We did.
Like, okay, typically they roll in, they got some stuff to say, but I think they were just kind of waiting to see if we were really committed.
Mm-hmm. And I think they didn't really like the idea, honestly, of us moving. So it wasn't a lot of energy behind helping us figure out how to do something we don't want y'all to do anyway.
So who do you think that, when you look back on it, like, who actually was our wise counsel? Because I think that everyone needs wise counsel when you're trying to go somewhere, when you're trying to do something, even if it's one person. And I'll even say this: what you watch is also wise counsel. Mm-hmm. In a particular season. Mm-hmm. How you feed yourself is also wise counsel. Like, you may not get, there are people who live in parts of the world where they only know poverty, or all their uncles is in jail and they don't have anyone to look to. So do they wait on this perfect person to speak to them? No, like, you have information at your fingertips with YouTube. And so, the people that you watch and tune into, and like I said, I'm watching, David Shands, or, I'm getting motivated by, this person and that person. And I'm listening to these people, and I'm seeing how my guy Twan is moving, and that's giving me energy to continue making the steps towards the move. Mm-hmm. Like, I know that if I make this move, and I have that type of energy, now I can get where I want to go.
Yes, no. Who you surround yourself with is vital, and it's not always going to come in the form that you wish it came in. So you might wish it came in your family, but it actually came into YouTube. You might wish, you know what I mean, that it came from this, but it actually came from this conversation that you had with the person at the grocery store. Whatever it may be, it is important to have community for sure while you're doing a big transition in anything.
Facts.
So yes, I think it's important to prepare. So even if I'm being authentic and vulnerable, one thing I'm overcoming is perfectionism. And perfectionism is truly just fear. I think is very fear based. And so for this, I haven't done an Overcome Her event since before COVID. So that is January of 2020.
What is Overcome Her again?
Okay. Overcome Her is a workshop for women to come together.
Like she didn't want nobody to talk about Overcome.
What did you ask me?
I mean, come on.
Ask me one more time.
Yeah. What is Overcome Her?
Overcome Her is a platform for women to come together to heal and be whole, and to come together as women, as sisters, to let each other know that we are not alone in our journeys of struggle, that we're all made of strength and struggle, but yet we all belong. So it is just a dope platform, and it's all about emotional healing and personal growth, period. And it's just the best. So anyways, I haven't had an Overcomer event since January of 2020. Then we have COVID. Then we have baby. Then we have relocation. And I mean, transition, right? And I was very fearful to do another Overcomer, because Overcomer is like, not only is it so good, it's like, for me, it's kind of like, how can I top that? How can I do that again? Like, I'm always trying to figure out like what's next. And I don't want to get caught up in that, because then you end up spitting on people. You remember you were telling me about the dude? Okay, don't do that. But Chris, you made a good point though. Let's not go there, because I love him. And don't even talk about him on this podcast. But what I wanted to say to that point though is that you said, see, that's what happens when you're always trying to chase, how can I be bigger? How can I be
Destination syndrome.
Yeah. Ooh, is that a real thing?
Yeah, I got that from my friend Shanta. She says that she uses that all the time.
Okay, talk to us a little bit. I'm gonna put a pin in what I had to say.
So essentially, with destination syndrome, it is the ever dissatisfaction of where you are, always chasing the hopes of that something else is greater. And so, here you are in a house that is the biggest house that we've, that has been ours, and you can't say that you're already looking forward to having a house that's even bigger than this one. Right? I mean, and it's not that you're ungrateful, but if you're not careful, it's not that you're ungrateful, but if you're not careful, you will then be dissatisfied in the in-between. And so sometimes while you're in the in-between, you're happy where you are, but you're not yet where you want to go. You have to just remind God that I'm still happy. Like I like that what you're doing for me. Don't get it twisted. But I know that you got way more for me. And so because I know that, and you know that I want that, and you know that I'm taking the steps to get that, please keep opening the doors for me. But don't think that I'm spitting at you or cussing at you for what you haven't done yet, because that would be a level of ungratefulness that I don't think he can bless you to the next step. So I know that, hey, we're in this season, where we want more square footage, but how me and Jazz think is that just gives us more hunger and more grind to go get more, and to go turn up more, and to go shake more hands, and to try to just press on our goals even more. But we're not sitting here with a level of like dissatisfaction and anger, and looking at God why he isn't doing more. No, like we're satisfied where we are, but we just want more. We desire more.
That's facts. That's good. No, absolutely. So and because like what you said, like if you get in that rut, and that's why I had to pull back to not get in that rut of how can I top that? Because then you'll start making mistakes, like the person I'm referring to when they put that spit all over somebody. It's just like, okay, now you didn't took it way too far. Don't do it, Christopher.
So here's my thing.
Don't do it.
And shout out to. Yep, See, I didn't do it.
Thank you.
Shout out to. But I'm just wondering, Was that like off the cuff? Right?
No, that was planned.
Well, the only reason I'm saying it was off the cuff.
Because you got to ask for permission.
But I'm saying
you got to let somebody know what to expect.
Okay.
You can't. That was definitely planned.
Was it between you and your wife? Like, anyways, that's a whole nother thing. Nevertheless, right? So now let me get back to the point.
No, let me
go ahead, get back to the point.
Okay,
I'm so sorry.
this is okay. So, anyways,
so sorry.
So I haven't done Overcome Her for a while, and I'm trying to be authentic and vulnerable about us saying it's never going to be a perfect time, just go, but you also need to be prepared and have preparation. So because I'm so trying to get out of this perfectionism and this destination syndrome with Overcome Her, I said, I just got to post the flyer. Once I post a flyer, I have to get it done and I'll do it. What I'm realizing is that even though that has got me going, right, I have not really prepared. So I feel a little bit behind the 8 ball on everything. So that's why I said, yes, we can always say it's never going to be a perfect time and just do it. I think that's good advice. But just know that if you're not prepared, you're going to create a level of anxiety for yourself because you're going to feel behind the 8 ball. So it's a balancing act. It's preparation and knowing it's never going to be a perfect time combined. It's fluid.
You know what helps anxiety when it comes to like elements like this? Because of course, anxiety has different environments, but it elements and environments like moving or going after a goal, it's taking action. Like nothing releases and the feelings of anxiety and stress than taking the next step.
That's so true. You can sit up here and be so stressed out about writing a 5-page paper or a 50-point paper, and it's all because it's living up here, right? And it's the procrastination, and you're letting days go by, and it's like, oh, I still got this to do. And you know what will relieve that?
Writing.
Doing it.
It always helps.
Just do it.
And so
Nike knew what they was talking about.
So with that being said, like you're never stuck. Like even if you're sitting back and you're wondering like, okay, I get it. They moved, they made a move, and this move could be figurative. Like this move that we made is one of those once in a lifetime moves you make, right? Like this is the equivalent to a lesser degree of deciding to have a child. Like this is getting down on one knee. This is a life-changing, shifting moment.
It's up there on like the 10 biggest life-changing
This is
things.
huge.
Yes.
So, but this goes for anything in your own personal life. Like whatever big move you need to make, just know that number one, it's not going to be perfect. There is no perfect time. You have enough information. You've read enough blogs. You've read enough websites. You've talked to, 3 or 4 people about it. Okay, now you either have to decide that you want this for your life or you don't.
Exactly.
And if you don't, then put it to bed and go forward towards something else in the arena you're in right now.
Absolutely. 10 million %. And do you know that when you do make that big move, how many people you inspire?
Man,
unconsciously?
Listen.
Like our move has impacted so many people. It just gets people to start thinking about the possibility of something more and something bigger. So you're not only moving for yourself.
Nothing you're doing, you're connected to everyone. You know what I mean? Like you're connected to everyone. I mean, you think like, yeah, you got these followers. I mean, but if you were to look about how many followers your followers have and how many followers they have, you're connected to millions of people. So what you do travels. So now if you inspire this other person to suddenly think about moving, then they got 13 cousins and 2 of them going to think about moving all of a sudden. So what you do has ramifications in the earth and in the spirit. And what you do matters to each and every person. So it's why we don't take things lightly. It's why it took us years to make a move, because it's going to impact our children's in their generations. Now my son will grow up saying that he's from Atlanta.
That's facts.
That's a huge shift in the lineage and the story and the genealogy of your family.
Absolutely. And that's why it was such a hard choice to make. We kept saying us moving changes the trajectory of our family.
Yes.
We said that so many times. We really knew the gravitas of moving. But it was important that we did it. And I'm so glad we did it.
I love when you use big words.
Oh, thank you. I get it from you.
Gravitas is such a heavy word. It's not even a big word. It's a heavy word. I like that.
Yes. Well, I love episode 60. I think if you have any takeaways, it is to do the big thing that you know you've been wanting to do. It is to prepare, but don't allow perfection to get in your way. There is paralysis in perfectionism. It really will just slow you down. And your big move is not just for you, it is to inspire other people. What will be your big takeaways from this conversation?
I mean, ultimately that, when you have a vision, that you have to take action, and that there is no perfect way to take action. And like I said before, that if you think that there's a perfect moment, you're looking for the perfect big step. You're looking for somebody to call you and say, hey, come move to Miami. Not gonna happen. You gotta take the steps. You gotta look on the sites. You gotta talk about it. You gotta take the baby steps, and eventually you're gonna get right to the next step, which is you gotta make a decision. And that's in anything you're in. You like the girl, you gotta say hello to her first, and eventually you will end up down the aisle. But you gotta take the steps to marry the girl.
That's good. That's good. Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure sitting next to you and recording with you
all day long.
I like Fresh Life After Dark.
That's what we do, baby. That's what we do. So yeah, I'm excited. I mean, this is gonna be dope. So first off, there's a lot of things going on. You have Overcome Her coming up, a virtual conference, which is gonna be amazing. You have some great guests that I guess you're gonna be unleashing soon.
Yes, like tomorrow, hopefully over the weekend. Yes. Overcome Her is April 2nd. It is virtual. It's from the comforts of your own home. Even though it's virtual, it is interactive. It is going to be awesome. Please go to the link in my Instagram bio and register. You can also go on Eventbrite and just search for Overcome Her, and it will pop right up. It's April 2nd at 9 a.m. from 9 to 12. You don't want to miss it.
Let's do it. Yo, Fresh Life. We in the building.
Making a gun.
Adios.